What's going on, everybody? Those y'all new to the channel here, my name's Austin, and this is Fantastic Freaks, and this around me here is the Fishroom. So after another hot minute since our last update, we are back showing what is now the completed project here. As last time in the video, we were talking about how there was plans for not just some projects in the works here, but as well as just some rearranging here in the Fishroom. And as I'm sure you've already gotten a little bit of a glimpse here behind me, things already are looking a little different than they did here the last time we talked. So in this video, I'm planning to show you every last bit of it that is new here, from tanks, now new positions here, as well as maybe what we do now with this space that we have now, as well as a little update on a tank that it's high time we get in gear. Of course, in terms of overdue tanks to kick in gear, I'm talking about none other than my 185-gallon bowfront tank here, which, yes, is full of water again. We got it cycling here. I won't talk too much on this, though, just yet. We'll come back to this here, though. But obviously, with this big behemoth of a tank here, that means, yeah, our 55 is no longer here. Where did that go? Going around the corner next to our 40s here, as well as our 20 down there, and of course our currently second biggest aquarium here in the fish room, 240. Finally, we have our 55 right here in the corner, which was a little challenging here. Yeah, the one multi-level 40 stand does cover it up just a little bit, but not enough to where I felt like it impeded the overall view of our Amazon puffers here, which, as you'll notice compared to the last video here, yes, we have finally given them a sandy substrate, which, as you can see, based on their coloration and activity, they are loving. I've seen them wallow on the sand a little bit there. We still have a little bit of the gravel, or pea gravel there to be precise, still at the bottom of the tank there. I think it helps give a little extra, like, I don't know what the exact word for that would be, maybe accent or something. But as you can see, them zipping around here, still loving that extra bit of space here, and now that they got a more appropriate substrate, overall, this tank is looking a heck of a lot better, although thinking I might get some of this other fake stuff out of here. Might try real plants them again. It's been a hot minute since I haven't done so since back when they were living in the 38-gallon tank. Maybe not even necessarily plants. I kind of like the two taller ones here, and every once in a while I see them weaving through it, so I don't think these guys are complaining much about those taller plants either. However, maybe if we gave these guys some, like, rocks and woods maybe to zip through and such, I could see these guys liking that as well there. Plus, it would maybe give a little more of a natural feel here. I mean, the problem is, I feel like when I have too many plastic plants in a tank, it feels, you know, for lack of a better way to put it, it feels fake. And I mean, it definitely could be worse. I mean, we don't have, like, the rainbow gravel or, like, you know, glow-in-the-dark neon orange plants or whatever. Alas, thinking maybe some rocks and woods could really help this tank pop out a bit more here. So, fortunately, we have a convention coming up here, which I'll talk about here later, which might have to look out for some things that might just help put some final touches on this tank here. But, of course, this 55 is only 4 feet long, so with that 185 being 6 feet long, we had to move something else to also get the 185 over there. And of course, I am talking about none other than the Oscar's current tank, this 50-gallon corner here. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why I decided to start recording after I did the water change in this 50-gallon corner. The Oscars now, you may not be able to see them, but they're hiding now by and under that sponge filter back there. That's kind of their favorite little get away from me spot. I'm sure they're going to remain there for a while, as much like my puffers, they kind of like to pout after I mess with their water. Still debating, maybe even after we get the Oscars out of this thing, you know, what are we going to do with this tank? I've thought about, you know, I might just drain it and store it away until the wife and I can, you know, afford a bigger place, thus I can maybe have a bigger fish room. We'll see what life holds, but otherwise, part of me has also wondered, you know, maybe we keep it up. Maybe we put something else in here. I don't know. We could do like another live bearer. We could even just drain the whole thing and maybe do a full-on salt water. I have been looking at clownfish lately, which obviously, yeah, is like the most generic saltwater fish to some people out there. I don't know, if you get like a smaller species of them, I feel like this 50-gallon corner could be really cool, and it'd be something different down here. There you can see the Bumblebee Oscar just peeking his head out from behind the sponge filter. If you look very closely at that moving part underneath that sponge, yep, that is our albino red Oscar. Oh, now you can definitely see him. Or her, I don't know. This is their pouting corner, I guess. Much like my puffers, anytime I mess with these guys' water, as you can see, yeah, they get a little grumpy. They do this pretty much every time I do any sort of maintenance on their tank here. But I can guarantee you, they're not going to be pouting after a while, soon after we get them out of this 50-gallon corner, which honestly at this point might be a little overdue, but we're working on it because soon and very soon, they're going to be moving over to this 185-gallon bowfront over here. Obviously, some of you may have been familiar with this tank for quite a while here. For those of you that don't know, abbreviated story time here. This tank has been sitting vacant for about as long as me and my wife have been living in this house. Initially bought this tank right as we picked up our 75-gallon there on the top there, which was initially holding our rainbows that are now in the 240 here. But now holds our green spotted puffers. And the day we came to pick up this tank and bring it home, well, I stumbled across this thing in the shop, and the problem is when you just leave a boy and his father alone in the fish store, the guys end up coming home with some new toys. And for just about 4 years, as I said here, this tank has just been sitting empty, vacant, just doing nothing but really collecting dust and occasional clutter. But as you can see, not the case anymore. We finally got substrate in here, which as you saw earlier, we got some fake plants in here because as we know, Oscars are not always the most friendly with plants and such. So we're gonna probably keep it like this. We might throw some Java ferns or Anubiases in there somewhere at some point here. We also have a sponge filter in here. That sponge actually used to be in this 50-gallon corner here for a while with them. I got another sponge in there that's also going to come out of this tank and get moved over here into the other corner eventually. It's been in there for about 2 days at this point here. 2 days at this point. That current sponge filter is only 120-gallon graded. So obviously this tank, as I said before, is 185, so doesn't quite reach the full potential there. Gets about 2/3 of it there. It'll still help us get some beneficial bacteria in there. Also put some prime in there to kind of help it out there as well. But at long last, we're finally getting this thing cycled. But as we all know, the sponge filter will not be the only source of filtration. In fact, for the first time, we are going to have a sump tank down here in the fish room. Got to get the emergency hose out of our way here, but went ahead. We got some media in there already, some sponges and such, as well as our pump all situated. As you can see, looking dry as a bone right now here, but wanted to wait before we get this thing here running, because wanted to, well, one, get water in this thing first. You should never run a sump dry, of course. Wanted to get some oxygen running in here, but most importantly, and the main thing that I want to do is I wanted to get one of our sponge filters with that beneficial bacteria cycling through the tank here before we got our sump down here. Door closed while I was talking, apparently. Wanted to get that sponge filter up there, up and running before we got our sump tank going here. So that way, once we get that thing up and running, we'll have a little bit of beneficial bacteria here already getting cycled through the water here and helping jumpstart the cycling process, so that hopefully we can get our two Oscars out of their little 50-gallon here and give them over 3 times the amount of space here. Final thing, of course, speaking of the 75s earlier, we had both of those tanks get moved over as well. Pretty much a lateral move, as they were one standing right where our 50-gallon corner here is now. Kind of like where they are here now too. In terms of height, they're a little shorter than the bow front, as well as the 75 hex over there, or the murder bean mansion over there. Need to do an update on that there soon too. But Feel like it fits in pretty good over here. In terms of height, it's not a glaring difference here. Definitely a little bit of a difference, but Hercules down there, or somewhere, probably hiding behind his sponge filter and the plants over there. That kind of tends to be his favorite little spot to chill for the night, and it is getting a little late as I record this here. As well as, of course, the green spotted puffers and the 75 that we talked about earlier. And with all these tanks moved on out of the way here, we currently have a nice little lounge over here. It's nice to have some seats here to just kind of sit and enjoy the tanks again, which is something I've not had down here now for about a couple years. And well, you walk over to this one over here. I mean, you can see the 185, great. Obviously get a pretty solid look at the 510 here, which Mac always likes to swim on over here whenever I sit here.
Hello, everybody.
Sometimes just come over here and chill with me. And then when you come on over here, of course, you still get a great look at the 185, as well as the 510 over there, just a little bit more of a distant view, but the 275s, the 75 hex, and then of course the 50-gallon corner, which again, I'm debating whether or not we keep it here. I kind of like it. I think it kind of adds to this little lounge part of the fish room here. I think I might need to put something on the walls here, though. It's still kind of looking blank over here. It's so used to having tanks over here, it feels like it's still kind of empty, you know? And let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this 50-gallon corner once we move our two Oscars out of here and over to the 185? Should we keep this 50-gallon tank here? And if so, if you had this 50-gallon tank, what would you put in here? That, guys, is the latest of what's going on in the fish room. Like I said, it looks a lot different here. Obviously, we still got another project going on here that we didn't visit up on here much. Of course, I'm talking about Finley's plywood tank. Long story, way shorter on that. Progress, as I've been doing all these other projects on the plywood tank, has been pretty minimal. And honestly, more sincerely, pretty much non-existent, other than just getting some materials to start the next phase, and that's of course building the actual tank itself. Like all the previous progress that we've done on Finley's plywood tank there, we'll of course have live streams, video updates once we get that going here. Expect that hopefully within the next month or two is when I'm hoping we can get back on that there. But that does it for this little fish room update, guys. Let me know what you think about this video. If you like this little update, of course, hit the like button. It helps my channel out quite a bit, of course, with that YouTube algorithm and such. If you're new here, I've not done so already, consider clicking that subscribe button, as well as that little bell right next to it, to stay in the loop with every post that I do, videos and updates such as this. Got some conventions here still coming up later on down the year, including a Quad City Fish Swap once again here this coming weekend as I record this. It's just days away here. Gonna have some live streams as well as a video of what we do over there. Might even go and visit a fish store that's in the neighborhood over there while we're at it. All sorts of great stuff coming here ahead that I hope you choose to follow along to. And while you're at it doing all that stuff, make sure to leave a comment below of what you think about the video, as well as what you would put in that 50-gallon corner tank over here. Should we keep it or should it leave, you know? Should it stay or should it go? And as always, guys, thank you for all the support. A special thank you to my moderators and members here on the channel. I will see you all in the next video, Fish Fam. As always, stay fantastic.